So I'm here with the champ, state champ. You a multiple time state champ too, ain't it?
Nah.
Damn. I'm over here bragging now, but he's
Nah, but I'm a national champ.
okay. There it is. That Young Quest Fitness over in off of College Parkway. So let me get this interview on the way. Y'all can check it out. It's gonna be right here. All right. What's your name?
My name is Jordan Collier.
My name is Greg Devine.
I am a wrestler for Fort Myers High School.
I wrestle at Fort Myers High.
He has taught me to wrestle while I'm tired. That way, while the other guys gassed out on the mat, I've learned to try and wrestle while I'm tired and get.
Since I've been wrestling him, he maximized my potential. He helped me get like a lot more explosive.
Okay.
And he helped me wrestle through those tired moments. And I'm not maximized yet, but we're slowly getting there.
Welcome to Walk That Talk. I'm your host, Brian Walker. I got my guy, national champ, coach, state champ, all the above, Mr. Jabari Irons. Talk to me nice, bro. What's good, man? Good to see you. Same smile, but just different hair. Got the wigs going, looking like Kodak.
Kodak? That lame man joke.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, man. What do you do? And how are you here in this very spot doing what you love, bro?
A substitute teacher, first off, and I also am a wrestling coach. So the way I got into this position, right after I won nationals, I've always wanted to be a wrestling coach, not only for like a school system and a team,
right,
but for myself. My dream has always been to open up an Olympic style wrestling center, because in Southwest Florida, we don't have one at all. So if a kid has dreams to be an Olympic champ, there's nowhere he can go in Southwest Florida that can teach him to become an Olympic champ.
Right.
Like, it's my purpose to give that and to supply that in Southwest Florida. It's a crazy story. Right after I won nationals, I just started calling gyms like, hey, do you need a wrestling coach? Hey, do you need a grappling coach? I called Futures MMA. I started volunteering there. I got to work with Nico Price, MMA fighter. I called Romans and Lehigh, FAMS. I don't even think they're in business anymore. Every gym in Lee County. And finally, I was thankful that Christina Youngquist, who owns this Youngquist Fitness, she said, oh yeah, come on down. Right. So I came down, I met her, I sat in on one of her practices, and then she said, oh, you know what, I have these jiu-jitsu kids. I'd like you to come and coach them. Yeah. And ever since that day, we built a connection. We help each other out in different ways. So that's how I've been able to be blessed and start doing what I'm doing now.
Off the record completely, I want to know, how did you get so big, bro? Because honestly, you've been big since I met you, bro. Like, everybody know Jabari because he's like this, and he walk around and you know, like, all right, cool, don't touch Jabari. How did you do it, bro? Are you just naturally like that, or?
Part of it is genetics. Okay. But I remember my junior year in football, everybody else is getting football offers except me.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I'm a decent height. I'm not as tall as I need to be,
right,
but also my weight was 165, 170. And my coach is like, since you don't have the height, 5'10", since you don't have the height, you need the weight.
Right.
So now I'm thinking, how can I put weight on myself? So I go on YouTube, I start typing how to gain muscle. I'm watching any and every video on YouTube, right? It was spring of junior year until fall of the next year, so football season. So over a spring and a summer, I went from 165 to 185. Playing football and wrestling every single day, much just ate 3,000 calories a day. Like, every 2 hours, I ate like a full meal. I had a lunchbox I would bring with me to school, protein shake. I had all that, so I was just eating constantly every day and all day. Every 2 hours, I was eating something.
Bro, your level of focus, bro, you're just like different. Like, your work ethic is just like crazy, bro. Like, even in practice, he was telling him, like, yo, when I'm practicing, I'm going like it's a full match every trip. Your teammates.
Yeah.
He was hitting his teammates, giving them bruises, everything, like it's a full match, because he doesn't like to lose and he doesn't want to go into his competition feeling like he didn't practice hard enough, and then it's like mediocre. You get what I'm saying? So I took that to heart, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That struck me.
You're gonna compete how you practice.
Exactly.
You can't do stuff half-heartedly and expect to go out and win matches when you didn't give it your all in practice. Right. I had to learn a lesson, man. I was, I think it was my freshman year in college. I was beating a guy 7-0 in the first period. That's a pretty big gap. We're at the Midwest Classic. It's the hardest D2 tournament there is. So I'm beating them 7-0. I end up losing in triple overtime. After the match, I find out this guy is the second ranked wrestler at this tournament. And I'm like, dang. And the only reason why I lost is because I told myself, hey, you're up 7-0.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give yourself a break.
Right.
So I stopped going as hard as I was,
Right.
and I lost, and I cried.
Yeah.
And ever since that day, I was like, bro, I'm never going to lose a match because I'm tired again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And ever since that day, I busted my butt in practice. Like I could be, like I was telling them, I could be winning sprints in practice. If I feel like I didn't run it fast enough or I didn't beat everybody by as much as I would be about to cry in practice.
You real tears, no
bro,
doubt.
like huffing and puffing, and I just like suck it up and have to start running again.
Oh
like
my
in practice,
That's passion, bro.
if we're going live and I feel like if I told myself, okay, in these 2 minutes, if I don't get 7 takedowns, I didn't meet my goal. So I bust my butt and try to get 7 takedowns in 2 minutes. If I didn't get it, I'd be about to cry because I feel like I let myself down.
That's
you know
real,
what I mean?
bro. That's real. I appreciate that, man. Like for real. Bro. That's not. I'm not even
For real,
lying.
bro, like you gotta set your goals. Like it's not even about long-term goals. I
Right.
feel like you set those small, minor goals, and that's what's gonna help you along the way to get to your end goal.
For sure. For a new coming wrestler, never really wrestled in their life, but they're interested, what are some basic things that they need to know now in order to get into that motion of wrestling?
I'd say for someone who's never wrestled and they want to get into it, the easiest thing they can do is just go right on YouTube, type in wrestling so they can get a good idea of what they're going to be getting themselves into.
Right.
Because wrestling is not just an everyday sport that you can go out and view it.
Yeah.
Like you can go to any rec and play basketball. You can go to any field and see people playing football.
Right.
So the first thing I do is I tell them, hey, go on YouTube, start looking up so they can get an idea, okay, this is grappling.
Right.
And then from there, you just have to have the enthusiasm and be open about what you're doing.
Right.
Because, I mean, I like it. It's a fun sport. It's rough. If you're already in the football and you playing contact, you're going to fall right into it.
Right.
So just creating that awareness and having an open mind and enthusiasm is pretty much all you need.
And what age group do you work with, I should say?
Okay, so the age group that I work with is ages 5 or 6, depending on the maturity level. Normally it's 5 years old, 5 to age 14.
Okay.
That's my private, like my youth club.
Right.
I also do private sessions with middle schoolers and high schoolers. I had some of my college guys come back this past week. They're off back in college now. But some of those guys, they came back and they had private sessions. I held private classes just for them as well. So I can work with anybody, man.
What is something that you know now in wrestling that you wish you had known before when you just started?
That's a good question. It's like the maturity level of when you're wrestling. Like my freshman year of college, a lot of it was me just being eager to get the takedown and not being patient. You know what I mean? But then I realized that later on in my wrestling, I didn't have to take as many takedown attempts as what I do now. So me wrestling my freshman year of college, I would have probably taken 5 or 6 shots within the first couple minutes. But now, I'll probably take 2 shots in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? So just being patient and trusting yourself, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just not overdoing it or just doing too much.
Right.
I think it's all about positioning and just having that mindset.
Yeah, patience. I feel like even with everything, patience come over time, bro, because you feel like, you know, when you're first starting something, you're eager to get it done, but as you know your ability, you know, you're able to say I can get it done. Let me work them down first and then go for that attack.
Exactly.
What is your why, bro? Why do you get up every morning, do what you do? What are you grinding for? As you mentioned earlier, to open up your Olympic gym and stuff like that, but is there anything else?
Yeah, honestly. All right, so this goes all the way back to high school, right? You know how everybody asks you, oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And I'm just thinking, I feel like I think more about stuff than the average person.
Right.
So even in high school, as I'm getting junior year, you know, we're all in Avid, and we trying to think, what are we gonna do with our future?
Right.
So literally, I just be sitting to myself random times, dang, what do you want to do?
Right.
So I had already wrote down, I didn't want to sit behind a desk and punch numbers all day, have no interaction
With nobody.
just for $1.
Right.
So then I'm like, okay, I ruled that out. So then I said, okay, you know what? I want to be a pastor because, you know, I love God. I love going to church scripture. And I can also, I was like, I can use that to mentor to the youth.
Right.
And then I said, but then if I become a pastor, how much can I actually, you know, I feel like your world is limited because, you know, you have to go out and forcefully like meet people. So then I said, what profession could I come in contact with the most amount of people and still be able to mentor to them? Right. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna become a teacher. So that way I can teach, I can coach, and I can become a mentor at the same time. So that's all three things that I wanted to do in one. So then from that point on, I said, okay, you know, I started getting exposed into like different facilities in the wrestling worlds and different clubs. And I got to be a part of a Team Around wrestling camp in Ohio, and they're like elite level. And I got to work for him by coaching some of the best kids in the United States. Right. And I said, you know what, this is what I want to do. Yeah. I spent the whole summer up there working under him, and I said, you know what, this is what I want to do. So I came back down here, and ever since then I said, you know, I want to open up my own wrestling facility at the same time as teaching and all that. So
that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful, and I respect that, bro.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm watching you. You're grinding, bro.
I just feel like, I hope she don't mess up our interview.
Nah, that's all fine.
But I just feel like, bro, like my parents, they both work a 9 to 5. You know, they get home and they're tired. They make dinner, whatever. How you doing? How's your day? Good, good. Right. And then we're playing sports and stuff, so we're not even home majority of the time. You know, we didn't have a lot of money, so everybody who helped me out in life were either my pastors, youth pastors, coaches, or teachers. I remember 9th grade, it was a science fair project. Everybody had to do a science fair project. And I didn't have the money to go do one. Right. Coach Costello, gym teacher from Lehigh, it was our freshman football coach. He went to Walmart and said, write down a list of what you need, I'll go get it for you. And I was doing an electromagnet like field, you know, and he bought me the battery, the wires, the nails. He bought me everything, you know what I'm saying? So, and just like little stuff like that, like just getting rides to practice or rides to tournaments. Like my coaches would do extra beyond me because I feel like they knew, hey, this kid's passionate. Right. So that's who I want to be to the youth, you know what I'm saying? Right. So that's my why.
That's beautiful, bro. Hey man, listen, man. I didn't even know all the stuff about you, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Hey man, God's working on you, bro. God's using you in a bigger way than you can ever think of, bro. Honestly, like no lie, bro. That's beautiful.
That's why I'm so giving, because I mean, like everything I've gotten is because I've been giving. You know what I mean? Like I can't really say I did something completely on my own, because everybody helps me out, and I take that in the heart.
Like some books, podcasts, seminars that keeps you going, that you indulge in probably every day, probably every 2 days.
All right, so number 1, my favorite book of all time is Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Same here, bro. That's it. That's the one that got me going.
Yeah, heck yeah, me too. And like, just because that teaches you how to deal with your finances, you know what I mean? Right. Like, I could be the most positive person, but if I'm struggling every single day, as soon as I go home, I'm gonna be struggling eating noodles and stuff. Right. So I'm like, nah. Yeah. Dave Ramsey a little bit. I'll just go on YouTube and I'll just watch a bunch of different stuff. And then from that point, I'll start taking, because you know everybody has a different opinion on how to do something. Right. So it's hard to discern like what truth is. Right. So from that point, I'll take information that kind of overlaps and kind of agrees, and I'll say, okay, and then I'll formulate my own plan. Right. But as far as, you know, just everyday inspiration, I get it through people, like just dealing with children and seeing children be kind, and you know, that's just like what keeps me going, bro.
I appreciate you being on the show, bro. It's been beautiful.
Thanks for having me, man.
You inspired me, bro. Like me sitting here, bro, is just such a blessing. He doesn't even know it yet. He doesn't know what God has really just poured into me just sitting here, bro. But I appreciate you taking your time out of your busy day.
I appreciate you for having me.
Honestly, man. Thank you so much, bro. To glory to God. Walk that talk.